There she is, our girl Mina Kimes from the West Coast. How we doing, Mina?
Good morning, guys.
Good morning.
Hey,
Good
how are
morning.
you?
I'm going to start with you here, Mina. Was the Eagles losing actually a good thing for them?
No, I don't really see how you could argue that. The goal is not to go undefeated. The goal is to get the #1 seed, and this takes them further away from getting that #1 seed and the all too important bye, of course, especially coming after that Vikings upset. Guys, the problem with this isn't just that the Eagles lost, it's that it might not be their only loss, because in doing so, we saw this is a highly imperfect team. It's still a good team. It's still undoubtedly one of the best teams in the NFL. But you saw some struggles with run defense in particular, a little bit of inconsistency from Hurts, especially when he actually had the chance to possess the football. And then as you look ahead to matchups with teams like the Titans or the Cowboys, I know, Stephen A., they're coming off a loss, but they're still formidable. You start to ask, well, what if the Eagles not only lose one game, but 2 or 3 games and risk losing that seed? And that's what matters here. It's the #1 seed. It's not the record, with all due respect to the 72 Dolphins.
Well, I think it is a good thing that they lost this football game. And I understand what the #1 seed means. When you get it, you play home field advantage. It's easier to get to the Super Bowl. But just like A.J. Brown said right there, enough of the 17-0 talk, because it starts to creep into the locker room. If you win 9, then you win 10. Then it's 11, then it's 12. Then the louder noise starts to come. Can they do it? And just like all of us as fans for teams, we want to see teams do certain things and get certain milestones and things of that nature. It also affects the locker room because they start thinking about it and making decisions on whether or not now you're sitting at 15-0, but you haven't locked up you locked up the #1 seed, but now you got a chance to go 17-0 and do something nobody's ever done before. Should I rest him? Should I start him? All of those sort of things, that's out the window now. They still control their own destiny, because the head-to-head matchup with Minnesota, and I understand that the Giants are creeping ahead. I understand that the Cowboys are still good. We don't know what the Buccaneers and Green Bay might do down the line in terms of the playoffs, or San Francisco. But if they still control their own destiny as far as I'm concerned, as far as getting the #1 seed, because they still got to see the Cowboys again. They still got to see the New York Giants twice.
I agree with you, Mina. That's how I started off the show, and that's where I'm at right now. Because you didn't run the football as effectively as you could. You couldn't get Washington off the field. They spent 40 minutes chalking up that amount of time. That's not a good sign. And Jalen Hurts didn't have his greatest game, and this was against a decent defense. Well, what do they have? There's a decent defense in Green Bay, even though I don't know if they'll make the playoffs. There's a decent defense in Dallas. There's certainly a decent defense in San Francisco. And so when you look at it from that perspective, if you're having trouble with the Taylor Heineke-led Commanders, okay, then the reality is you could potentially have a problem with anybody. It certainly instills a level of confidence in a lot of teams going up against them. Get physical, run the football, play that grinded out kind of game, and let the Eagles try to beat you that way. If you better talent than the Commanders, which there are several teams in the NFC who are, then obviously that bodes well for you. And I think that's the message the Eagles sent last night. If you played better offensively, I wouldn't think that way. But the fact that you struggled the way that you did sends a bad message to me.
Well, see, 2 teams that I look at that they beat that people think are good teams are the Minnesota Vikings and the Dallas Cowboys at the time when Cooper Rush was playing good. They beat both of those teams, and they beat them both in Philadelphia. So when you look at it from that standpoint, I don't look at who they're playing. A win is a win is a win, no matter what the level of competition is. As I said to you earlier, Stephen A., it does not matter. If you stack up those W's, as Bill Parcells would say, you are what your records say you are, and that's the end of it.
Yeah, but I can't sit up there and say the competition doesn't matter. That's where Keyshawn and I completely go off the rails.
It does not.
I will never accept that. The level of competition matters.
No,
yes,
it
does.
doesn't.
Okay.
It doesn't. It doesn't matter.
Keyshawn, I think, to go back to the question about the loss, our issue is not necessarily that they lost one game and they're not getting the record. It's that, and I think Stephen A. both see, this team is more vulnerable than people expected. I certainly think that's an important takeaway coming from last night. And now you're not just looking at one loss. You're potentially looking at more losses. So that's when it becomes less about breaking records and more about dominance and holding on to that #1 seed.
But what makes them vulnerable? Because they walked into a team that the letdowns always happen when you play against teams that are not very good,
Sure.
like the Washington football
I'll tell
team.
you what.
Overlook them and you just walk through
Yeah.
things, doing things differently. A.J. Brown had 1 catch for 7 yards. How many times is that going to happen?
Yeah, look, there was some fluky things about this game. Granted, turnover luck went the Eagles' way the first 8 games of the season, and sometimes that tends to flip. But to me, what was most concerning is the run defense. Going into this game, the Eagles had one of the 2 worst run defenses in the NFL. I was concerned, frankly, and I'm concerned when I look ahead to opponents like the Titans and, of course, the Cowboys, who have a very good run game. In the first half, as you saw, the Commanders did not let the Eagles get the football. Brian Robinson just kept running it 2, 3, 4-yard chunks at a time. And when we look ahead to the playoffs, and like Stephen A. said, matches up with the likes of San Francisco, Dallas, Green Bay, that run defense is a legitimate concern and one that the Eagles need to address.
Thanks for watching ESPN on YouTube. For live streaming, sports, and premium content, subscribe to ESPN+.